Hey guys, we are at 9.2.2 Explore videos and we are going to talk about path number 2 starting with Vulture. The nodes are overwhelmed opposition, dazed and confused, resistance is futile, don't interrupt me, and bubble shield. Now I personally really like these node combinations. The defenders will gain protection that you can remove with the striker while having 3 or more buffs. So naturally your cosmics and a few techs and mutants will also work for this path. You can also bring in Odin pre-fight and use any champ you like. A striker will be needed to remove these protections, and I would also suggest you to boost well for a faster completion. The top options will be buff champs with counter to falter or miss, so Ironheart, Gladiator and Serpent with Odin pre-fights are cool options. Now there is a nasty Kraven, so ensure to bring a counter for him. My counter was Storm, and the boss island is Cassie Lang, Shuri and Nightcrawler, so stick till end of the video for the boss fight, strategies and also the counters. The first fight is against Vulture. Notice the grey timer that gives the defender a protection every 14 seconds. That will decrease the incoming damage by 20%. You have to use a striker while having 3 buffs active to remove them. There is also Dazed and Confused node that applies Falter on you if you parry twice within 9 seconds. You can counter it with buff heavy champions with an anti-miss mechanic. But the catch is you cannot intercept the opponent with a medium attack. Intercepting the opponent with a medium attack will nullify all buffs on you, including Odin pre-fights, and deal a burst damage for every buff nullified this way. So you either need to intercept with a light attack or block and let the defender trigger a heavy attack that you can punish. But remember, there is also bubble shield while you're doing that. That will increase the charges when you block, and the 11th hit will be unblockable. Pay attention to the charges and it will help you navigate the fight. Now I am having fun with this path, so I brought in my rank 4 Ironheart. You can bring in any champion. So if you noticed, I've used Odin pre-fight because I just don't want to use my 4th light attack to get those buffs. But you can use Ironheart without Odin pre-fight as well. You just have to use medium, light combos to make sure that you have enough armor ups on you. Now I am going against Colossus, so I've used my pre-fight so I can apply ruptures instead of incinerates. And all I'm going to do is to throw my SP1 and then my SP2 at the end to take out Colossus. Now because Ironheart can counter the miss, she is one of the better options for this path, and she has the buffs as well. So once I have my tracking up, I don't need to worry about Dazed and Confused node. I can just parry Colossus freely and I can do damage as I please. Similar options that can work can be your Serpent with Odin pre-fights, or you can bring in Gladiator as well. He works well too. With his SP2 he can counter the miss. Now moving on to fight number 3, this is going to be an annoying fight because whenever you will parry Kraven, he is going to reduce the stun timing, and if you parry him too much, he is going to really reduce the stun timing and you won't have enough time to attack him back. I will make a lot of mistakes here, but what I'm trying to do here with Storm is even if I run out of stuns, I can passively stun him with a parry and then I can do my damage. So I'm just trying to push him to an SP2 always because he does not throw a trap with that. So all you need to do is to play slow, but he's not being cooperative. He keeps throwing that SP1. So I've got 10 hits blocked. Now this next hit is going to be unblockable for him, so I need to take care. I will just evade it. Well, I'm failed spectacularly. I got hit with the unblockable, but you have to take care about that bubble shield node. After the 10 charges, the 11th hit will be unblockable and the defender can do quite a bit of damage to you. You also notice that I lost all of my prowesses because I intercept with a medium and I took quite a bit of that burst damage. So this is going to be a slow fight and probably the only fight where you need like a specialized counter. So make sure you have that when you select your team. And all I'm trying to do here is to build up my prowesses and use a striker when I have more than 3 prowess, because the striker will help me remove the protection from Kraven that he gains every 14 seconds, and that is stacking, and that reduces the damage taken by the defender for 20%. So I pushed him to an SP2 again. By this point, I have 17 of those prowesses on me. I'm not really worried about the buff. I'm just trying for him to throw that special 2 out so I can go back in and finish him off. Fight number 4 is going to be a Civil Warrior, and he's going to gain a lot of armor ups. So that's why I brought in a Gladiator. His SIG ability stops the opponent from gaining any kind of armor ups. So all I'm doing is hitting in the block and increasing my confidence. That counts as a buff, so I don't need to worry about not having enough buffs. I'm trying to push Civil Warrior to an SP2 so he does not gain all the buffs from the SP1. And I'm trying to get to an SP2 here so I can get that vigilance buff on me, and that will help me counter the miss. And from now on is easy pickings on Civil Warrior. Again, there are other plenty of options you can use. You can use a Serpent with Odin with the miss counter. You can also use Ironheart, so it depends on you. I like using class advantage champions, and they help me out quite a bit, finish off the fight faster. And just like that, in Unstoppable, I countered his SP1 and I did quite a bit of damage. And Gladiator is one of the better champs for this path. And before we know it, Civil Warrior is down. Now this next fight is very interesting against Namor, because whenever you will apply debuffs on him, he is going to give that damage back to you if he tries to attack you. Even if he doesn't land a hit on you, even if he hits in your block, he's going to start returning that damage to you. I'm using an Ironheart. She is awesome because when the tracking is up, she removes the offensive ability accuracy of the opponent. So even if he attacks me, he's not going to do any kind of damage to me. So all I need to do is to use my striker once there are enough buffs, and I can remove those protection from Namor. Now you notice that I did intercept and I took a bit of damage, so that's why I'm using medium, light combos, so I can get more armor ups on myself and I can do 100% of damage. And in the end, I throw a big SP2 and I take out Namor. And the final fight from before the boss is going to be Mysterio. So let's quickly summarize this path. So you will need champions that have access to 3 or more buffs, to use a striker that will remove the protection on the opponent that the opponent gains every 14 seconds, reducing their damage by 20%, and that is stacking, so at 5 charges they do not take any damage. Next up, there is going to be Do Not Interrupt Me. You cannot interrupt the opponent with a medium attack, otherwise he will nullify all the buffs on you and deal burst damage to you. So that is going to be important to take care of. And there's Bubble Shield, so if you block, you're going to get a charge on yourself, and after 10 charges, the 11th hit will be unblockable from the opponent, so you have to play around it. And as for Mysterio, make sure that you bring in an armor break champion, so you can break his armor so he cannot apply poison on you. And whenever he gets armor up back up, you can just use a heavy attack, because I'm using a Venom. You just have to apply an armor break with any champion and you should be good taking him out. This fight will be slightly longer because of his specials. He gains all of that miss and everything, but if you bring in a miss counter, you should be okay against this champion. So I'm just slowly taking him out. His weakness is damage over time, and Venom applies a lot of damage over time. So here we are, I use the striker, remove that protection, and then SP1, and those bleeds are enough to take him out. For the boss, we are going to attempt Nightcrawler, and you will need champions that have easy access to shock because of Thunderstruck node. Otherwise, he will take 90% less damage, but when there is a shock on Nightcrawler, he takes 25% extra damage. You can also use tech champions that have power drain, burn, or lock, because those will also apply a passive shock on Nightcrawler, to help you deal 125% of damage. Now, if you parry Nightcrawler, there is going to be a ticking time bomb charge on you, and if you parry him 3 times, the 3 charges will explode on you. The charges will be removed, but you will take some burst damage. Also, you will be rooted. When you gain 3 semen charges, you can see those charges underneath your health bar with a root icon. To remove them, you will gain them automatically every 6 seconds, and to remove them, you have to block the defender. And also, Nightcrawler will apply a 12-second debuff every time he evades. That will reduce your defensive ability accuracy by 20%. And finally, whenever you will parry the opponent, you are going to apply either a slow or a panic that will help you counter the evade. So simply apply shocks. Parry often use 4-hit combos only, and you should be able to take down Nightcrawler. So I hope this helps. I'll see you on the next video. Bye!